Today's startup founder knows a thing or two about hitting turbulence. She launched a travel technology company shortly before COVID pretty much grounded all business travel. It's one of many twists and turns that she says set her on the right path as part of our series through the Lansing Regional Smart Zone. Expert Connections starts now. Could you imagine talking with 5 or 6,000 potential customers, not necessarily for sales, but for discovery? Imagine what a difference that would make for your business. Welcome to Expert Connections. I'm Julie Holton. This story, part of our ongoing series featuring the Lansing Regional Smart Zone. Our expert startup connections today, founder Lisa Simpkins of Deal Captains Travel Technology. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thanks for having me, Julie. Very excited to be here.
Lisa, there are a lot of exciting things happening in your world. You are working on a new application, a new brand, a new name for this app. But let's start back at the beginning and the challenge that you set out to really come up with a solution for with Deal Captains Travel Technology. Take us back to the beginning. What was the inspiration behind launching your startup?
Deal Captains was started back in 2019, right before the pandemic, literally. I stepped back from the business travel world where I've had a 30-year career. And I was frustrated with business travelers, having issues with booking their travel, forced to use mundane, old, cryptic online booking tools. They didn't have much support on the road. And really, they just wanted to book on the sites that they preferred to book on. So the delta.coms and, all the direct travel vendor supplier sites. So I started out building a cloud-based application that would allow business travelers to book and manage their travel the way they want to, and not be forced to have to use the old tools that are out there. Travel industry is a very, very slow to innovate industry. And so really my focus was to, come up with a solution that business travelers wanted, and would actually use. So that's kind of how I got started. I've kind of taken many twists and turns along the way. I ended up hiring several employees. We did a big push with some of the travel technology partners and built out a platform for business travelers called DCX Travel. And it really was a mix of the latest cloud-based travel technology that was available at that time, infused with high-touch personalized service. We sold that for 18 months, maybe years, and it really kind of fell flat in the marketplace because we were just reusing the same technology that was already out there. There was nothing really earth-shattering or different about it. So I took a pause, took a step back in late 2022, early 23, and started planning the application. So that's where we're at right now. We've got our brand new app that will be launching this year. And we've done a ton of discovery calls with potential users. We've talking with well over 6,000 people, business travelers mainly, travel managers, executive assistants who have given us their insight as to the tools that they want to use in an application instead of, having to use their travel agency's archaic junk that's out there.
Okay, so I want to get into this app in just a moment, but first, it's not lost on me that you said you launched in 2019. Of course, 2020, we all know COVID hit. You have had so much turbulence, so to speak, pivot after pivot after pivot. One thing that just stood out as you were talking is talking about how when after you launched and you were successfully running for 18 months, maybe 2 years, but you felt that the technology wasn't quite there. You weren't quite doing enough different in the market than others were doing. Talk about that a little bit. How did you start to gain that recognition? Because I think a lot of startups go through this where you have an initial idea and you're going to, make your place, make room for yourself in the market. But then once things get going, how different are you? Are you different enough? What's going to help you to build? Or do you need to, take a full assessment and regroup? So talk us through that stage.
Yes, that has happened multiple times. So, taking a pause and regrouping, and admitting that something is not working or failed, is huge. I'm the type of person that, if it's not working, I change, right? I gotta keep going in order to find that thing that's going to work in the marketplace. The travel technology that is out there right now, everyone's been scrambling to get to a point where they're not utilizing old artifact technology. So the airlines still use artifact technology for their booking systems, which is crazy. They have been, that's like 1980s code. So getting, working alongside of different partners, and utilizing the newer technology that is out there, which is called NDC, New Distribution Capabilities. It's more of a direct API into the travel content that the suppliers offer. That has been in the works for well over 10 years and is still not perfected. And so everything that we've done or I've done, had a theme around it of allowing the traveler to book direct on the sites that they want. So going out to your delta.com, going out to united.com, going to Marriott, that's where travelers love to book. They get extra points and perks by going direct because the suppliers now really love the loyalty, stickiness. So that is our vision, is building an application that will integrate all of those direct sites into the application so that the traveler doesn't miss out on any of those great perks.
Absolutely. And it's kind of that idea of the business traveler is still a person who wants the perks of each of those sites, as you discussed. Okay, I want to ask you a couple of these W questions, right? So let's get into the meat of this a little bit so that we can hear what this app is going to do. So first of all, what is this app? Tell us, what exactly will it allow people to do?
Well, what it will allow is, we've determined that, there's 1.3 million business travelers on the road every day. And 65% of them book direct on the airline and travel supplier websites. So what we've done is integrated the direct applications into the app so that business travelers have access to their travel profiles, their family travel profiles. They have access to their corporate booking site for Sky Miles for Business or United for Business. And also car rentals, Uber, Lyft, anything that really touches travel that the traveler could utilize in an application, we're integrating directly into the app. Now, they'll also have all the information of their business trips. They'll have, and that's available online and offline. That is a huge struggle for business travelers, is they get to a location, they can't get on their app, right? They haven't downloaded their itinerary. They don't know their hotel confirmation, and they don't have internet service, right? So, or Wi-Fi or mobile service. So that was a challenge. So we're integrating everything so that it's available offline, so that the travelers have access to it anytime. And then we're integrating the Microsoft Copilot, as well as some of the Microsoft tools that are available for travelers. Say, we have our application will allow the traveler to go into Hey Nellie and take a look at, put in some AI prompts that will help them create an itinerary. So, for instance, I want to go to Denver, going for a concert. I have a business trip. I want to commingle those together. By the way, while I'm there, I want to go to a national park. All of that information they can put into Nelly, and it will create them an itinerary and make recommendations of places to go, see, do, you know, hotel recommendations, flight recommendations. It's really a really cool new way to, allow the traveler to create the journey that they want.
Sounds like a really holistic way of being able to capture all of the things you want to do when you're traveling. How often do people travel for business and then they're adding in an extra couple of days? They're maybe bringing a spouse or someone along, and then they have other things they want to do. So tell us, Lisa, who will be using this app? Who does this target?
This targets the small to mid-sized business traveler who works for a company that either A, doesn't see a value in using a travel management company or a managed travel service because of the expense, or a rogue business traveler within an organization that has a corporate travel program that 9 times out of 10 doesn't even book within that program. So we know that 80% of business travelers don't stay within their business travel program. They book outside. They call it leakage in their travel programs. And so that is our main target. We're also building out a version of it for executive assistants who book and manage multiple travelers. They're flipping between 80 million different apps. Takes them average about 20 hours to book a business trip for executives. So we're building out a version of the application specifically for them, that will, integrate all of their executives into one place, have the itineraries, the calendar integration, pretty much everything that they need, as well as like a pre-trip checklist and, all kinds of really cool functionality that isn't available today in any application for travel. We're also looking at integrating a meetings and events version of it. So for instance, you want to research and book a meeting for 100 people to say Cancun. You can put that information into Hey Nellie, and it'll give you all these really cool recommendations.
Lisa, it seems like from layman me, it seems like the ecosystem can be a little saturated when as an individual I go online and I want to look up flights, or maybe I'm looking at potential vacation destinations, or if I'm going to do some business travel but want to also integrate some of these other things that you've been talking about. There are a lot of websites out there, and really even that can be overwhelming, right? But what I'm curious about is what truly sets your app apart? What really makes it different in the marketplace than what already exists?
What makes us different is we're able to, although the travelers have the ability to book and manage their business travel where on whatever site they want and bring that data back into Nelly so that they have a 360 view of all of their travel plans and what they need. We also support the traveler on the road with live, high touch traveler services on the background. Um, most, as a matter of fact, all travel management companies, if you don't book your travel directly with them, they don't want anything to do with you and will not support you on the road. We don't care where you book your travel. Just integrate it into our tool and we'll take care of the rest for you. So if you're flying and you've got nowadays you get a connect or your flight's been canceled, you're on a connection, you get to a hotel and they've oversold the hotel, just give us a call. We'll take care of it for you.
Hey Nellie is a pretty interesting name for your application. Tell us about this is a rebrand. This is brand new since I last even talked to you. Tell us where this name came from. It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah. So, my vision has always been to bring this application to life, right? And make it something that, travelers could converse with and interact with and have fun with. And as I was doing some research, I did come across some. I was looking at explorers and female explorers specifically, and I came across a very interesting lady named Nellie Bly, who was an explorer and a journalist in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Now, Nellie was a trailblazer. She's widely known for a record breaking trip where she was the first female to go around the world in 72 days. She went on to be an American investigative journalist. She wrote 10 Days in a Madhouse and pioneered other things in the journalism industry. And then ended up she also was a businesswoman that took over her husband's business when he passed away. So it really kind of resonated with me and my journey as that, I've been on this journey. I've been, a pioneer and a trailblazer in a lot of the things that I've done in my career. I was the first female mayor of a small town in Utah, which, that was crazy in an all male world out in Utah. And so it really just resonated with me. So Nellie Bly is really the story behind it. And so we are rebranding this month under the name of Hey Nellie. And so Hey Nellie will be the app. And we're going back to our origins of the company name of Deal Captains Travel Technology.
I love this. There's so many elements to this that I love. Part of your rebrand. Can't wait to see how Hey Nellie starts to come together as you're building this application with the new name. And for those who want to hear more about the personal side of your journey as a woman startup founder who's made many pivots in your startup journey, but also in your career, you mentioned, being the mayor of a brand new town in Utah. We talked about that actually on my podcast, The Think Tank of Three. And so I'll link to that below as well. Lisa, you have a lot that's happening right now. What are you most excited about in the coming months?
I am most excited about getting this application to life. This has been a very long journey. And so, getting the application out in the marketplace, getting feedback, getting users on board to test it and play with it, give us recommendations, we'll build it for you. Um, really that is what I'm most excited for. The pandemic really hit the travel industry hard, but travel is still not back 100% to where it was before. So I'm excited to get the millennials to use it, all different generations to use it. We're part of the MSU Mentor in Residence program at Michigan State, and getting feedback from a lot of the students of today who are the business travelers of tomorrow has really been an inspiration as well. So that is really what I am most excited for this year in 2024, is to bring this thing to life.
So we have such a great ecosystem, startup ecosystem here, but with MSU, the Greater Lansing region, the Lansing Regional Smart Zone, you're part of their group as well.
Yep.
Lisa, Love watching as you navigate through all of these pivots and really excited to see what comes in the next couple of months. We'll be cheering you on for sure. So I want to ask you about all of these discovery calls. You mentioned, talking to more than 6,000 people. Oftentimes, when we talk to startups on this show, one thing that's missing that they don't learn until way later that they always wish they would have known sooner was to make those discovery calls to talk to their potential customer, to talk to their end user. So tell us about that process. What made you seek out, talking to that many people, and what have you learned through the process?
Part of it was as we were trying to sell the product that we had previously built. Um, we touched well over 6,000. We did outreaches of well over 6,000 people. Conversations definitely with at least, I would say, one-on-one conversations of at least 5,000. Um, and really it solidified the vision of, okay, what we're selling. It's like trying to fit a square block into a round hole, right? And it just came out in a vision that, look, this isn't working, right? So the discovery calls, what we really found out was that business travelers start their journey at Google. Almost 90% of them started, going to google.com, Google Flights. As I started, going through the process and asking those questions, and then what I ended up doing was during that 18 months, 2 years, I stopped trying to sell because I wanted them to just start talking. And so that's where we got a lot of the input, a lot of the feedback. I would have never have thought that a business traveler would have needed access to their itinerary offline. I thought that was a given, right? I thought that, everybody loaded their books or downloaded their app, their itinerary. Not so much. Also, one of the key things that came out was the prominence of the bleisure. So the business with leisure. Um, Almost every person that we spoke to, at least once to 2 times a year, integrates that. They always want to stay over the weekend in the location that they're doing business in and experience the culture and the uniqueness of where they're at, or take in a concert or a show, or go skiing for the weekend. So a lot of the discovery that we did, although it was mostly for selling a product to them, we really just kind of sat back and started just listening and kept track of all of the different features that business travelers wanted but didn't have today, or had to use 5 different apps to get to what they needed. So integrating it all of that into one place, it's a one-stop shop for them.
I also know you have a lot of connections with the airlines. What's their feedback on what you're developing?
They absolutely love it. So we already have Southwest Airlines on. We are in discussions with them. Delta is evaluating it. And United Airlines we're also in discussions with. What they've never had before is a partner that is integrating their site. They want the stickiness with the customer, and so we're utilizing that, right? We're tagging on to that, because the loyalty, we know every business traveler is a points junkie. Integrating all of the frequent flyers into one place so that they have all of their points on one dashboard is another key component of what we've integrated. And so, they can just take a look on the app as to how many points they can go and how they can leverage them and utilize them. That's a total game changer in the marketplace. To sign up for Nelly,
Yeah.
to join the wait list, you can go to www.heynelly.co.
HeyNelly.co. We will link to that in our show notes. Lisa, thank you for being on the show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
That's all for this episode of Expert Connections. I'm Julie Holton. Be sure to hit subscribe to catch the next expert in our Expert Connections series. If you want more startup stories, stay tuned for the next video. That is all for this episode of Expert Connections. Stay tuned for the next video in our Startups Connection series. I will see you next time.